Hello everybody, I'm Kellen Fisher. Welcome back to this YouTube channel. Today we're doing college basketball Saturday Week 10 picks. We have a great spread of games, and I'm very excited to get into it, with this being our second Saturday of conference play. Last Saturday did not disappoint, and I expect the same for this Saturday. So let's go ahead and get into some of this week's great games. Number 18, Georgia, is in South Carolina to take on the Gamecocks on ESPN2 at 2 o'clock. UGA favored by 3.5. Mike White's team lost to Florida earlier this week, so Georgia will move down unless if they destroy South Carolina, which I don't see happening, but I do see them winning this game. So Georgia probably will move down to a 23 spot or 22 spot if they decide, the committee decides to keep them ranked, which I think they will. Let's move into some Big East play. We have Villanova at Marquette. Marquette's disappointing, I think, this season. They're 6-10, a team that I never would have picked to start off the season with a losing record. And I think it's very disappointing for this team. They're one of the best teams the Big East has had to offer over the last 5 years. Very good team, but Villanova has been good in the 2010s and winning national championships too. And they're favored by 4.5 in this game on TNT, and I like that. I think Villanova's going to win. I think they're going to win by more than 4.5, but I only pick straight up winners here. Let's move into the Big Ten. 12 o'clock on the Big Ten Network. It's Nebraska, number 10 in the country, 15-0, one of the last 6 remaining undefeated teams in the country. They're taking on Indiana, who's 12-3, and Indiana's favored by 4.5, something I found a little surprising and very interesting. I think people are picking and putting money on Indiana to win this game because they're at home and because they think Nebraska's probably running on luck, and that luck's going to run out. And even if it's not luck and it's still skill, people think Indiana's going to beat this team, as Ohio State was favored against Nebraska a few days ago, and that game did not work out in the people's favor who picked Ohio State because Nebraska remains undefeated. And they had an impressive win last Friday against Michigan State. So I'm going with the upset here. Give me Nebraska. Let's move into the Big 12, our first Big 12 game of the day on Fox at 12. It's number 22 in the country, Kansas taking on West Virginia, and West Virginia is at home. They're 10-5. Bill Self's team is 11-4. Now, I like West Virginia, and I want West Virginia to win this game, but I'm going to have to go with Kansas. I think Kansas has had a pretty decent, tough schedule this year. They've had some good losses to Duke and North Carolina. It is just half of their losses right there, and those are 2 pretty impressive losses, especially to Duke, the 6th team in the country. So I'm going to give me Kansas on the road. All right, let's head back into the SEC. At 1 o'clock on the SEC network, it's LSU, who's 12-3, going to Vanderbilt, a team favored by 14.5 at home. And Vanderbilt is also one of those 6 remaining undefeated teams. Now, if you know me, I think I've said this before on this channel, that I hate watching games when Vanderbilt is at home. I will not watch this game tomorrow because I hate watching games when Vanderbilt's at home. I watched their game against Alabama earlier this week in Vanderbilt, which I did not want to do, but I did it because it was such a good game. It was such a great game to watch. 2 huge basketball teams this year facing off. I watched it, but Vanderbilt's gym is not made for basketball, and just the whole setup of it, I'm not the biggest fan of. Let's go to Texas, where Texas A&M is at home, and they're favored by 5.5 against Oklahoma at 3:30 on the SEC network. Texas A&M lost their coach Buzz to Maryland, but they're not really missing him as they're off to a pretty decent start, 12-3, and I think they're going to win at home against Oklahoma. Give me A&M. All right, 6 o'clock on ESPN. It's number 15 in the country, Arkansas, at Auburn. Auburn's favored by 1.5. Bruce Pearl, no longer the coach at Auburn. Stephen Pearl has taken over his son, who was on the team, or their team's coaching staff last season. And I think Auburn's going to win this game at home. They're 9-6 And Arkansas is 12-3. I think it's going to be a very close game, and I think the spread does show that. But I think with Auburn being at home is what gives them that competitive edge, in my opinion. All right, going to the ACC. Clemson, 13-3. They're favored by 2.5 in Indiana to face Notre Dame, who's 10-5. This game is at 6 on ESPN2. Now, I'm going to have to go with Clemson on this one because I think Clemson this year has proven that they're a really good team. They beat Georgia. One of Georgia's only 2 losses this year, the other one coming earlier this week against Florida, as I said earlier. So I think Clemson's a great team. They've always been competitive. They've gotten into the tournament, or the big dance, so to speak, the past couple of years. They're a great team, competitive team. So I'm going to have to move now to the Big 12. Number 14, Texas Tech. They're 11-4, favored by 5.5, taking on Colorado, who's 12-3 at 7 on CBS Sports Network. I'm going to have to go with Texas Tech. Football team had a disappointing loss to Oregon to end off the season, but they're just getting started in basketball. They got great things. One of their losses was to Purdue, which is a good loss. Now, I'm Kellen Fisher. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you all next time. Goodbye.